APPA is the Advanced Pathway Performance Assessment Project, and the theory of action behind APPA is that performance assessment can drive what's happening both in terms of teacher instructional practice, but also in terms of student experience.
Teachers have to stop seeing their students as, this is my roster for this school year, and start seeing them more as parts of a 4-year process. And each year, every project, every class is for a purpose.
How often really are students having to sit for long periods of time and filling out bubbles in the real world? Really that doesn't exist anywhere else. Kind of the stuff that we're asking kids to do in their high school experience or in their secondary experience needs to more closely mirror what they're actually going to be asked to do, as grown-ups when they're out in their jobs.
The hope of APPA is that we're trying to reframe how we think about assessment and accountability so that the levers that are really driving instructional shifts and professional development are the things that we really value and that will lead to all of our students graduating college and career ready.
There are 8 teams from Northern California and Southern California that are working on putting in a performance assessment system in their schools. The goal is that they prototype pieces of assessment systems. They get feedback on them, they revise them, and then continue to implement them in their schools, and that ultimately they are then examples that other pathways can use.
We were given some kind of pre-work to do to really try and get your outcomes ready to bring to the first meeting. Kind of backwards mapping from that and aligning all of their projects along the way, from the day they walk through the door to the day they walk out, that we're scaffolding that so that we actually do produce graduates who have those strengths and abilities.
It's helped me become more purposeful in what I do and why I do it. Same for the members of the team who are invested in it. It's helped us to, instead of just do projects that sound like they could be fun or sound like they could be cool and kind of just are all over the place, really focus on what we're really trying to do, what the long-term goal is for our students and what we really want them to be able to demonstrate upon graduation.
So we have our outcomes in place, and what we're really trying to do with this APPA training is come up with the rubrics that all of our teachers could use. So teachers could pull from this rubric bank and use it with activities that they're already doing with students.
As I might do a rubric in 9th grade and Jessica utilizes the rubric in 11th grade, students can look back and see how they've grown. And then when the defense comes around in 12th grade, they're already prepared to know and anticipate what is expected of them, but also they can be a little bit more metacognitive about what they've learned or how they approach a problem.
Well, you also think critically for the moot court, for your closing, because you have to anticipate what the other side is going to say.
I am actually supporting Richmond High School's Law and Justice Academy around their APPA work, and what they're focusing on this year is developing for the first time a culminating year-end senior sort of assessment that's called Passing the Bar.
That's where it involves a little bit more thinking on your feet, because they're not always going to give you the answer that you want. They really want to make sure that their story is heard for their side. And so making sure that you're not arguing with the witness is important, because you're not allowed to argue in a case. And also make sure that you are still following courtroom procedure and courtroom ethics is very important.
You're really kind of looking at how students develop over time as opposed to just in a single moment. And so that's much more powerful for students and for teachers to see how kids are growing and developing.
One of the things that we've embraced is this idea of prototyping. In creating this outcome rubric, what we've learned is we're not going to get it right the first time. So by doing this first iteration of our senior defense, it might get a little rocky, but we feel like it's going to be an opportunity for us to go back and reflect and then perfect it again, kind of that whole know, do, and reflect cycle.
This is a process, and that there is no one right fit for every single school. It is not a formula. It is, each school is different, each teaching group at that school is different, and that the process of actually going through and working together like we're doing right now and creating a rubric that we're all in agreement on is something that's very, very, very important to implementing and having it be sustainable at a school site.
Collaborating within a campus is vitally important. It's for school culture and what you're building there, but I think also being able to come together like this and share with other faculties is really useful.
There's kind of this site-based introspection or reflection that we ask teams to do. Everybody's doing the work, similar work around assessment and outcomes-aligned instruction in different places in slightly different contexts. And so it really helps to have them learn from each other, be inspired by each other. I think every year that we engage teams in this process, we get smarter, we become more efficient in how we do the work, and we become more effective for our students.